Welcome to my channel, The Human Frontier. I wasn't supposed to find her. The mission was simple: salvage what we could from a battlefield that had already gone cold and get out before anything came back to finish the job. No survivors. No complications. That's what Command said. But Command wasn't there. I was. And sometimes that changes everything. The world after the war. My name is Garrick Hale. Former soldier. Current salvage runner. I worked the edges of conflict zones, places where the fighting had stopped, but the scars were still fresh. It paid well, mostly because no one else wanted to go there. This job took me to Varnis 4, a planet that had seen too much war in too little time. The surface was a graveyard of machines, burnt-out walkers, shattered ships, and broken weapons scattered across miles of ash-covered terrain. The sky hung low and grey, heavy with smoke that never seemed to clear. Quick in, quick out, I muttered to myself as I stepped off the shuttle. That was the plan. It never stayed that simple. The sound that shouldn't exist. I moved through the wreckage, scanning for anything valuable: power cores, intact systems, anything I could sell. The silence was unnatural. No wind. No wildlife. Just the distant crackle of cooling metal. Then I heard it. A sound that didn't belong. A voice. Small. Weak. Crying. I froze. No way. There weren't supposed to be any survivors. I followed the sound through the wreckage, stepping carefully over twisted metal and debris. The closer I got, the clearer it became. A child. The one left behind. I found her beneath the remains of a collapsed transport. Curled into herself. Shivering. Barely visible beneath the debris. She wasn't human. Her skin had a faint, pale glow, like moonlight reflecting off water. Her hair was dark, tangled, streaked with ash. And her eyes were wide. Terrified. But alive. "How are you still here?" I whispered. She didn't answer. Just stared at me. Like she didn't know whether I was going to help her. Or finish what the war had started. The choice I didn't plan to make. I knelt down, carefully moving the debris aside. "It's okay," I said. "I'm not here to hurt you." She flinched anyway. Didn't trust me. Couldn't blame her. Slowly, I reached out. She didn't pull away. That was enough. I lifted her free from the wreckage. She was light. Too light. Like she hadn't eaten in days. "You're coming with me," I said. She blinked. Then whispered something I didn't expect. "Please." The enemy wasn't gone. I should have left right then. Gotten her to the shuttle and off the planet. But the universe doesn't work like that. The moment I turned back toward my ship, my scanner lit up. Movement. Multiple signatures. Incoming. "Of course," I muttered. Because nothing is ever easy. The hunters. They weren't soldiers. Not exactly. They moved differently. Faster. More precise. And they were headed straight for us. "They're looking for you, aren't they?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer. But she didn't need to. I could see it in her eyes. Fear. Recognition. They weren't random scavengers. They were hunting her. Running wasn't enough. I picked her up and started moving. Fast. The shuttle was still a few kilometers out. Too far. Too exposed. "They'll catch us," she whispered. "Not if we move faster. That won't work. Then we'll figure something out." I adjusted my grip and kept going. Because stopping wasn't an option. The first contact. They found us sooner than I expected. 3 of them. Emerging from the smoke like shadows. Weapons raised. No hesitation. No warning. I ducked behind a piece of wreckage as the first shot hit. Energy bolts tore through the metal, sending sparks flying. "Stay down," I told her. She nodded, gripping my jacket tightly. I returned fire, forcing them to take cover. But I knew the truth. I couldn't win this. Not in the open. Not like this. The one thing they didn't expect. "Can you run?" I asked her. She hesitated. A little. "Good enough." I pointed toward a narrow passage between two collapsed structures. "Go. Don't stop." "What about you?" "I'll be right behind you." It wasn't a lie. Just not the whole truth. The fight I didn't want. The moment she moved, they followed. Exactly what I wanted. I stepped out from cover, drawing their attention. "Hey," I shouted. "Looking for me?" They turned. Focused on me. Good. That gave her time. I fired again, forcing them to spread out. But they were good. Too good. One of them flanked me. Another closed the distance. I barely had time to react. The hit that changed everything. The shot hit me in the side. Hard. Knocked the air out of my lungs. I staggered, dropping to one knee. "Yeah, that's not good," I muttered. The world tilted slightly. Pain spread through my body. But I didn't fall. Not yet. The moment I refused to lose. I pushed myself back up. Forced my body to keep moving. Because she was still out there. Still running. Still depending on me. And I wasn't about to let that end here. The unexpected power. Then something happened. Something I didn't expect. The air shifted. The ground trembled. And suddenly, they stopped. All three of them. Frozen. Like something had locked them in place. I turned. And saw her. Standing there. Eyes glowing. Hands trembling. "You should have stayed back," I said. "I couldn't," she replied. What she really was. The energy around her pulsed. Strong. Unstable. Dangerous. "They want me because of this," she said. "Yeah, I figured. I can't control it." "You don't have to." I stepped closer. "They're the problem. Not you." She looked at me. Uncertain. Afraid. "Then what do I do?" I gave her the simplest answer I could. "Trust me." The end of the fight. She closed her eyes. Took a breath. And the energy shifted. Not wild anymore. Not chaotic. Focused. Controlled. The hunters didn't stand a chance. The escape. We made it back to the shuttle. Barely. I collapsed into the pilot's seat as the engines roared to life. "Hold on," I said. She nodded, sitting beside me. The ship lifted off just as more signatures appeared on the scanner. Too late. We were already gone. What came after? The med bay patched me up. Mostly. I wasn't moving fast anytime soon, but I was alive. She stayed close. Didn't leave my side. Didn't speak much either. Until one day. She did. The word that changed everything. "Why did you save me?" she asked. I looked at her. "Because you needed it." That is not enough reason. It is for me. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that stopped me cold. "Father." I blinked. "What?" She looked at me, completely serious. "That is what you are," she said. I didn't know what to say. Didn't know how to respond. Because I wasn't her father. Not really. But in that moment, I realized something. Maybe that didn't matter. The ending that was only the beginning. I didn't plan to keep her. Didn't plan to change my life. Didn't plan for any of this. But sometimes, plans don't matter. Because sometimes, you find something worth protecting. Something worth fighting for. Something worth staying for. And when that happens, You don't walk away. You stay. Because in a universe full of war, loss, and destruction, sometimes saving one life is enough to change your own. And sometimes that's how a stranger becomes family. Thank you for listening. Subscribe for more cinematic science fiction stories.